Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. This is my fourth game in a row against Lizardmen. I'm 0-3 and dying to win. I swear, I think I'm just going to play this guy over and over again until I learn how to beat this list. Um, anyway, we got a pitched battle, which I definitely like because it helps me to group my guys together. We did have a lot of terrain. We rolled for this directly out of the book, and that right there in the middle is a swamp that gives you 6 up regen, but it's also a dangerous terrain test for anybody. There's the Idol of Mork or possibly Gork on the right, and there's an Elven Waystone on the left, and there's even more. I mean, it's just and so that kind of terrain poses its own problems. It means there's a lot of wherever there's a fence or a forest, I'm looking at dangerous terrain tests and stuff like that. So yeah, so his 2 chameleon skinks are over here. Uh, he's got Salamander, then his bigger unit of Salamanders, Source Warriors. He decided not to put anybody in the house. Instead, just put a steg next to it, and then his unit of Temple Guard, and then another unit of Source Warriors. And I think he saw that I was kind of clumping to the left. I mean, I started off kind of in the middle and then worked my way to the left. And I think he just didn't care. I think he figured that he has me what out magicked, and he's stronger in the shooting phase. And so it's really up to me to get to him, and which is true. At the same time, when I looked at this, I thought I saw an opportunity because there's a lot of cheap units on this side, and a lone source unit doesn't concern me in the slightest. So I was thinking, if I can wrap up with these 4 small units, that source unit, I could do that without losing anything, and have the game right there without being forced to confront his Temple Guard unit and totally ignoring that far source unit the whole game. So that's kind of what I was looking at. I forgot to mention he also has a level 2 with Lore of Heavens, and I believe he's just behind the house. So I changed my list up from the last 2 games I played. I really didn't like, well, I really disliked that list. For one thing, I put a fighty character lord back in my list because, ironically, despite the fact that I run a lot of knights, I find that it's still not killy enough because people can field things that just, well, are hard to kill, and I can only have a chance at killing them when I charge, and after that, I've got nothing. So I have a Lord level character. I gave him the sword of +2 attacks, and he has heroic killing blow. And then I think I gave him Gauntlet of the Duel, but I don't know, and I'm going to take that off of him anyway. He's got a 1-up. I think he's got the Dragon Helm. He's got a 1-up armor save. So at least with him, I feel like I have the chance to kill some of the big nasty stuff. I'm using the Green Knight model there on the right-hand side of this picture. I dropped a tray bucket, so I only have 1 trebuchet now. I added a second spellcaster, so I have a level 2 with Lore of Beasts, and she has a Dispel Scroll. I dropped my Questy Knights because they were just making me mad, so I just replaced them with another unit of Knights of the Realm, which I tend to like. My level 4 caster, she has a feedback scroll, and she's using Lore of Heavens this time. And I like that because Heavens gives me some range during the magic phase. A lot of times with life, you're just buffing your own units. With life especially, there's certain spells that you just really need, and when you lack one, my whole plan falls apart. So anyway, I'm going to give Heavens a try. And I took the Errantry banner out of the Knights Errant and replaced it with the Banner of Discipline, and I put the Lord there. So now I have I have 10 leadership bubble, and passing my impetuous test is easy. So those are, sorry to take so long saying all that, but those are the major changes to this list. So far left, I've got 12 Knights of the Realm with the full command and the flaming banner. Got a trebuchet, and you see I made a mistake again. I was trying to get cover from those woods from his shooting, but he gets to deploy 12 inches away, move 12 inches, so he'll be in the woods, and therefore I don't get the cover. Yeah. Anyway, I've got 11 Knights Errant, plus my Lord. Then I've got my Knight of the Realm unit, level 4 caster, Battle Standard Bearer. BSB still has a 2-up rerollable. Peg Knights, they start off on the right just to distract him, and I'm bringing him to the left. I'd really rather use those guys for Chameleon Skinks and Salamanders. I've got a 40 Men-at-Arms, I believe, with a level 2 Lore of Beasts. And she's got a Dispel Scroll. So, turn 1, his Chameleon Skinks move up. And when I saw this, I'm thinking, you know what? They're certainly going to kill that trebuchet, but if I'll give up the trebuchet if I can get those 2 units dead and off the board. I'll be ahead in points, and the trebuchet it hasn't been doing anything in recent games anyway. So you can see he's not moving up aggressively. He's just kind of making me come to him. So overall, that's what the board looks like. Trebuchet's dead, and we go to Bretonnian turn 1. So both of my units crash in here. So I had to take 6 dangerous terrain tests, and I failed 2 of them. I had to take 3 per unit because the front rank is touching the woods, and failed a couple. So a couple of those guys are dead. My Peg Knights charged his bigger salamander unit, and it was kind of a long charge, but loved making that. Even though it's awkward, I can barely fit. If I can beat those guys, that's a lot of devastating shooting off the table. Yeah, kind of awkward because he has his level 2 with Lore of Heavens. He's hiding behind this waystone, so it's easier for him to channel, and it's really hard for me to charge him, but I was able to fit. I angled these guys because I wanted to give my level 2 with Beast. She has the Amber Spear, and so I wanted her to be able to see his caster to try to pick him off. It didn't work. So after the combat, I just reformed. I lost a knight in fighting, and again 2 knights through dangerous terrain, so don't like losing all those. But his bigger unit of salamanders is gone, both chameleon skeek units are gone, and so far all I've really lost is a trebuchet. So I will take that as a start to the game. So here's just from my left looking down. I kind of like when I can see my knights in a battle line like that. I like what it can do for me. So his Stegodon charged my men-at-arms, and I passed my terror test. He failed the charge. His Temple Guard unit entered the house. He basically did a swift reform and just walked into it. And I don't know if he was doing that as a faster way of getting over towards the action, or as a way of just doing points denial, because there's nothing I can do to them in the house. Either way is actually, not a bad plan. You can see on the bottom his salamanders moving up to shoot at my Knights of the Realm. He does shoot at them. I think he may have hit one. And anyway, I passed my panic test, but it was a scary moment because I'm only leadership 8 without a reroll, and they would have panicked right off the board, and I would have been a little unhappy. So we go to Bretonnian turn 2. Well, the scary thing here was my Lord was with the Knights Errant unit, and if they were to charge that Stegodon right in front of my lines, 1, it would have been a lot of dangerous terrain tests as I went through that swamp, and 2, it would have just been really awkward. So what I did instead is I charged my general out. He was able to make the charge without entering the swamp, and I only really need him anyway. And the Knights Errant at that point couldn't charge, so I didn't have to take an impetuous test. I did try to get the Knights of the Realm into the source unit, and I failed that charge. And I think I needed a 9, so it wasn't a done deal, but decent odds I should have made it. Not too awful worried with that because I'm stubborn, so if he gets the charge on me, I can countercharge, and I think I'll be okay. So having passed their panic test on his turn, I declared the charge on my turn. Very happy to see that. He's got Flesh to Stone on his guys, and actually I don't really care because I don't need to do a lot of wounds on him. I need to beat him through combat res, and I think I can do that. He has Shield of Thorns on him, and that was the beefed up version as well. But I just dispelled that, and this magic phase was spent just dispelling Shield of Thorns, dispelling Throne of Vines, and I didn't try to cast anything beyond that. So I go in here with 6 attacks. I hit on 4 or 5 of them, and when I rolled a wound, it basically put 2 wounds on him, but didn't get Killing Blow. He came back on me, and wasn't able to get past my 1-up rerollable. And not sure why this picture is there. Here on the left-hand side of the board, so beat the unit, ran him down, and then failed dangerous terrain tests when I hit the Necrotic Ooze River. So terrain is killing as much of my guys as Lizardmen are this game. So we go to Lizardmen turn 3. So his Source Warriors, they get the charge. Again, I'm not too worried about it. His Temple Guard come out of the building. I don't know why he came out facing my Peg Knights. I'm assuming he did that so he could do Dwellers Below on him or something like that. I just really don't know. I have no idea. It could be because if he brought him out facing my units, he would have been closer. Might have. Yeah, I'm not even going to guess. I don't know why I did it. So just other views. This is my far right, this source unit that he, kind of make me go to him. Uh, I don't need to kill that unit, and he's having a hard time getting to me. So during his phase, I had 6 attacks. Again, hit 4 or 5 of them, and this time I was able to roll a 6. So the Stegodon went poof, which was just wonderful. And that's why I really like having heroic killing low, because uh, otherwise nothing happens. So at the end of combat, you can see he did a good job of killing just a ton of Knights of the Realm. I mean, 4 of them. But we all held in combat. On my turn, I get to countercharge. Ooh, I like that. I like combined charges. My general, I just wanted him out of line of sight of these guys, and if he, I was actually trying to get it to where if he brought his Lizardman unit out, I might be able to get the charge and be able to assassinate the Slann if I got in their flank. Now I brought my Pegasus Knights to the very top left. I moved them over so that the Temple Guard couldn't see me, but I still wanted them to pose some kind of threat for a flank or rear charge. And the real value in that is to assassinate the Slann. Once we kill a few Temple Guard, he starts getting exposed, and that's kind of why I wanted to keep them on the other side of him. So Lizardman turn 4, his source, charge my men-at-arms. I flee. Now, having fled, I had to take dangerous terrain for everybody in that swamp, and then take it again for that the Elven Waystone. I lost a third of my unit just in dangerous terrain tests. So now the Lizardman unit went back into the house, the Temple Guard unit, because I think he saw there's really nowhere he could move, that he wasn't going to get charged with 2 Knight units in the front and a Peg Knight unit in the back. And again, the real advantage there is exposing his Slann. With those kind of odds, I think I'll win that battle eventually. Now during his magic phase, he cast Dwellers Below off on my Knight Errant unit, killed a ton of guys. They failed their panic test despite the reroll and ran away. So, yeah, I'm not as threatening now as I was. But at this point, I realize, you know what? I've got the game. All I have to do is survive. And I've lost very few points, especially after this. I rally on my turn. I've got all my Knight units. I have all my characters. All I've lost is a Trebuchet. He's lost enough stuff. All I need to do is stay alive. And I told him that. I stay alive, I've got the game. So now I think he realized that he needs to get real aggressive real quick. If you look at the Knight of the Realm unit with only 4 models in it on the left, what I'm doing there is I'm just trying to get away from everything, so that if he leaves the building next turn and then wants to charge me, I'll be too far away. And I didn't feel like I could really do it going across my lines to the right, because his source unit might be able to get me. So that's what I'm doing there, is just trying to get away. General's just hiding. I don't like that he's actually vulnerable to Dwellers Below if he wanted to try for the point sink. This is where Lore of Heavens is real nice. I just targeted this mage. Spell went off, and the lore attribute killed him. And I don't think the spell even has to go off for me to be able to use it. So that guy has the fly ability. So he's vulnerable to Lore of Heaven spells. So Lizardman turn 5, Temple Guard leave the building. Source warriors are trying to come up as much as they can. Just another view of the board. Really at this point he's just trying to get Dwellers Below off. Now if you look at the top of that red marker, that's the Comet of Cassandora or whatever that got off on my phase. And maybe even a couple phases ago. You see there's a couple markers on it. So another reason he's leaving the building is he didn't want to get hit too hard with that thing. So Bretonnian turn 5. Again, this is me just kind of an awkward game of keep away. On the top left, my Knights of the Realm they are not fleeing. I'm trying to get far enough away from the Temple Guard so that if he charges me, he either can't make it, and actually if I chose to flee, I would still have a pretty good chance to stand on the board. So they're okay. My Battle Standard Bearers unit, I was trying to get out of his front arc, and I don't know if I did it or not. When I moved him, I thought I could, and then I'm not sure if I could. And then I was like, I'm not really worried about it. Um, if he hits me, I'm steadfast. He's probably not going to kill me, and I could flee and get away probably. So, uh, arguably, I might be a little bit cavalier in the way I'm moving around because I think I'm in a good position to not lose units. Men at arms at the bottom are just kind of getting away from the action as much as possible. Go to Lizardmen turn 6. This was crazy. He charged my peg knights like I thought he would, and I just fled. Um, Flew right over everybody. Everybody passed their panic test. And then he needed an 11 to get into my knights errant, and he got it. And I was thinking, wow, yeah, now it might happen. Something like this might lose me a few units. But he didn't kill off that unit. He killed one. The bad news is they're down to 25%, so they need Snake Eyes to rally. So I am going to lose the Knights Errant unit. But nobody panicked. I wasn't too worried about panic because all it would do was get me away from him, and then I just needed to rally people. And my Peg Knight's going to rally on a 9, and then um, the peasants, had they fled, they would rally on a 9 too. So I wasn't worried about being able to rally things. So at the end of the game, my Knights Errant run off the board. Everybody else rallies. And finally, the Bretonnians get a victory after four losses. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.